Jeffrey gives up before he even starts.
It's too late. The market for this business is too saturated. If I was only one of the first, no, I'm not going to start lifting weights either because I should have started when I was younger.
For a long time, I felt behind in life. I graduated from university with a shitty degree that didn't make me eligible for any good jobs. And so I went down the entrepreneur route. But I felt pressure. I'm 22. I should be making, some money. All of my friends are in somewhat decent careers. They have nice cars and clothes, and I feel behind and directionless. Open your mouth, bro. Adonis. Adonis has fond memories of his early adult years. He didn't have everything figured out. He was still learning, exploring, trying new things, seeing how he could create an impact in this world. He saw how everyone his age would stress out about where they were in life. They just needed the same mindset as him. As men, our lives only count from when we start working on something that's important to us. The moment we put in work that impresses us. The unfortunate thing is that for most men, we don't get that kind of opportunity until after the education system, and maybe even a couple of years after that. Chris from the YouTube channel First Man came up with this concept, and I'll let him explain it. If you want to buy our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video.
If you're 30 years old, you're actually only 12 years old. And a lot of people are like, what the f*** is he talking about when I say that? But it makes perfect sense, okay? When you're 30 years old, you're actually 12 years old, because that's the first year where you can actually, you can actually start doing okay, off your own back. You can make your own decisions.
And so for me, the moment when I first became productive in any sense was age 17 when I started lifting weights. The classic story of the skinny fat little brown kid who used to play video games, but then he stopped playing video games and now he's confident and he can now hold eye contact with everyone. That was 7 years ago when I was age 17. I'm 7 years old. Because before that point, I did not do a single thing productive. I did not work on a single thing to a good level. School was not on my focus whatsoever. The only other productive thing was leveling up in RuneScape, and I don't think that counts. So I'm 7 years old. For most people, probably including yourself, you're more like 2. And a lot of guys are so hard on themselves because they're not where they want to be in life, and they feel like a sense of this existential crisis, and they're 22 and they graduated, or maybe they didn't go to university or anything, and their life feels directionless and they don't know what to do, and there's that one friend who's making a lot of money. You're like a year old, bro. You're like 2 years old. Would you say to a baby, where's your career? Little Jeffrey, what the what are you going to do after you finish nursery? Why don't you have it planned? You wouldn't speak like that to a child. But you right now are like a dumb little kid. And I don't even say that to be condescending, but you have 2 years, maybe less than 2 years of experience in the real world. You've been forced down the education system, which didn't actually allow you to prepare for anything else. Now, of course, if you went in the education system and you've been going down that route of wanting to get the career that comes from a degree, fair enough, you're older in this sense. But the majority of people don't seem to be compatible with that lifestyle. And so it seems like for most people, they actually start to somewhat take their first steps after leaving the education system at age 18, maybe even a little bit longer. And so although I was 17 when I first started lifting weights, and that's the moment I feel like I was born, so I'm 7 years old, I didn't do anything else that was productive for around 5 years. Fast forward to around age 22, I'm in my final year of university. This is when I first started looking into entrepreneurship, just very slightly, and I started selling clothes on eBay. So in terms of productivity, wealth, and success, I'm 2.5 years old. And when I actually hit my stride, when I actually started, putting in work for this particular business, was May 2020. It's been 1.5 years. It shows you what you can accomplish in 1.5 years when you have one single focus goal. And for a lot of guys, you don't find that focus up until after a few years of trying loads of different things and trying this career and trying this business and reading this book. I think this mindset is very important for men to grasp. I went through that existential crisis. I went through university not really thinking that I was going to get a job from the degree that I was in. I graduated and I felt so behind everyone who actually did well in university, everyone who studied for a career, because I didn't study. I went to university to let's just be honest here. I went to university for 2 reasons. There was 2 goals that I had from uni, and neither of these was about getting a first class honors or anything, because it just wasn't in my mind that was important. I went to uni because I wanted to sleep with girls and because I wanted to make friends. This was probably a little bit more important than this one, to be honest. Like, this was a big part. I literally just wanted to have like a poppin' social life, and with that social life, end up meeting girls to like date and sleep with and hook up. And of course, that's, you know, that's stupid. It was a waste of time. But interestingly, why would we say that? Why would it come into our minds just then? Oh yeah, Hamza, you messed up in uni because you focus on these two things instead of this one, which is, you know, studying and being a good boy. Because everyone who did this makes less money than me. Obviously, I sound arrogant. Oh, Hamza, ego is the enemy by Reinhardt. Shut up, bro. You get what I mean, right? It's interesting how you can take the world by its balls when you have the sole focus and the discipline of like a man who's actually found the thing that he should be doing. Because these two things like are the biggest part of my YouTube channel. Of course, added with fitness as well. I didn't even script this, but it's just making me realize like the world and life is so random that you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know I can't even explain it. Like, I'm really using all my brain cells. I'm really using all my brain cells to try and explain like a new concept that's just like started in my mind. This video that we're talking about, okay, we feel behind in life, but we're actually like X years old because we're 2 years old, 5 years old, depending on how long we've worked, right? Chris says it's like the age after 18. So when you're 18, that's when you're born. And so he says like 18 to 30 is like 12 years old. At 30, you're 12 years old. I really like the concept. I slightly want to change it in the sense of like your life actually begins when you start being productive in something that's important. Not like, so for example, if school is important to you, if you want to, you know, you see yourself going down the school route and you want to be a doctor, okay, that's important. That's when you started. So maybe you're like 12 years old already. And for me, for example, the first thing that was important was weightlifting. So I was 17. I'm 7 years old. But the underlying concept that we're talking about here is like this sense of like of comparing ourselves to other people and like feeling successful in a sense of, you know, feeling behind in life. And the issue is that feeling behind in life is a feeling that you've got to get used to if you want to live an unconventional life. Because everyone who's went down the conventional route feels like they feel further than you. Of course they do, because the world has told them that they're doing the right thing. That entrepreneur is dangerous. Don't make a business. Go to university. Be a good boy. Get a job. Be a good boy. Just save up money and then don't buy coffee. Don't buy any coffee. Don't buy any coffee. Invest the money. Index funds. Property. Make $200 a month from property, please. You. That's the conventional advice that you're told, and if you don't follow that advice, you're behind in life. But things can work out. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, don't follow the conventional advice, drop out of high school and you, bro. Don't like, there's two extreme sides. And some people take the way extreme side where they go against society. They end up being what MJ DeMarco in the Millionaire Fastlane says are the sidewalkers. So the sidewalkers are the people who fully go against, you know, the conventional standards and like, no, I'm going to smoke weed and I'm going to work at McDonald's and I'm going to work in like a job and I'm going to stay in like a place that, you know, is dangerous or something. No, that. We're not going to do that either. And then there's this side of like the goody two shoes narc who's like, yeah, university is the best way. Index funds is, oh, you, index funds. The world will make you feel behind in life if you don't follow their conventional practices. It's only after you achieve like a weird level of success that everyone's then looking at you like, wait, he got lucky. That's what it is. Oh, I couldn't do something like that because I've got 17 children to look after. I couldn't make a YouTube channel or whatever the they want to say. You have to live in this grey period where you are doing the unconventional thing, but before that unconventional thing has gave you the results that put you on par or better than everyone else who followed the conventional route. Then they'll all be looking at you. So I do often get asked, like, do I have a degree? Did I actually graduate? And I did. I graduated from Manchester Metropolitan University with a psychology degree, a third-class honours, so the lowest grade that you can get. And I shouldn't have even passed. They gave me like a, what's it called? They gave me like a something pass. I forgot what it was. It's essentially like a pass, like you were retarded, but you had some potential. So I got 35%, 36% in, you know, my final results and everything. And it's 40% to even pass. So I should have failed, but they just gave me like the pass anyway, in a sense, and they wrote something about it, like, oh, you know, but at least you tried, and you mental health problems, and you know what I mean. So I passed. Oh wow, Hamza's got a degree, everyone, and like everyone's celebrating, and I'm like looking around, like, what the f***? Like that's nothing to celebrate about. Like a day ago, I was a student. I was like, you know, lively. I'm a student lifestyle. Everything is all fun. Now I'm unemployed, and I'm not eligible. You lied to me. Like I'm not eligible for anything new. What the f***? Yeah, of course, if I got a first-class degree, then maybe I'd be eligible to carry on studying and keep paying like a lot of money to study. But overnight, I'm now unemployed. I'm searching for jobs on Indeed and LinkedIn and, you know, my dad's like, yeah, Hamza, apply for 70 jobs a day, Hamza, you'll get one, don't worry. Everyone's like, you know, fully saying shit to me. I'm applying for jobs, none of them coming back. I start lowering like the standard of the jobs that I'm applying for, lowering it. And eventually the interviews that I do get are from the jobs that I was already eligible for before I went to university. So I get into my first full-time job, £8.40 an hour, complaints department, hearing people cry and scream at me. And this is where the existential crisis came. I'm looking around, I'm working the worst job out of everyone I know. Some people that I was friends with in high school, they've actually got some like good level careers, like they focus on studying. I'm here, they're here. They're making 3 times more per hour, 5 times more per hour than I am. They've got a car, they're buying like nice clothes, they're living a nice life, they've got the money to like spend in like a pub and everything, and here I am, £8.40 an hour, 60 something pounds per day. And then I read 2 books, The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco and The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And it's very interesting. A guy who's a degenerate, he's just spent the last few years taking drugs instead of actually studying. He's reading a book on how to become a millionaire faster than everyone else, and also how to drastically reduce your work hours. And it would have seemed crazy. Obviously I didn't, broadcast it and say, look guys, I'm reading these books, but I think anyone who's looking at me then would have thought, okay, that's weird. Like, Hamza, don't try and don't try and get rich quick, Hamza. Don't try and make a lot of money, Hamza. Don't try and reduce your work rate, because 40 hours a week is absolutely required. And yet those 2 books got me to where I am today. The 4-Hour Workweek, I've accomplished it. My work tasks is to record a couple of videos per week. I sometimes do more for the sake of just like hopping on Discord and talking to people and everything, but it's like, I can get by at 4 hours of work per week. Less. The Millionaire Fastlane, I follow the principles. I've made a business that fits almost all of the principles outlined in that book. Realistically, maybe this sounds arrogant or something, hopefully, like I don't sound like one of those who are like, yeah, I'm gonna be a billionaire or whatever. Realistically, I could imagine having like $1 million net worth within 2 years from now. We're making probably about $15,000 a month, like passively. Like we're not actually I'm not trying to make money right now. I'm literally just making these videos, and like the old stuff that we have just automatically is just making a lot of money. Skillshare, YouTube, my course and everything. Next year when I publish a full book, a novel, and also like more things that I can sell, I can very much imagine like at the very least to be making like 50,000 a month. And I know that sounds like crazy, and I'm saying it in such a passive way, but it's once you get shown what's possible, it really normalizes. A lot of this video is very strange because it's this concept is all based on just what we consider to be normal around us. Like you feel behind in life because of everything that you're looking around. Generally, a man feels behind because of some idea of like the education system. That's pretty much what it always is. You feel behind because 1, you're just not getting the same grades or the career advancement in the education system that other people are. Or 2, you just don't see yourself going forward with the idea of the education system, the bachelor's degree or whatever, and you want to do something else. Like you want to make TikToks if you're a pedophile, and you want to make music or something. I feel like I'm all over the place in this video, but I hope it's still helpful in some sense. You can see that my mind isn't very organized in this. To be honest, I don't feel behind like at all these days, and I think that's like quite apparent. It's like the business has really given me a sense of like feeling like if I had to like compare myself against everyone, like in front of quite a lot of people our age, not everyone, but I'd say like it's probably like 5%, something like that. Like maybe there's 5% of people our age who are making more money than me, who have like a level of success higher than me right now. The beautiful thing about being a young man who's full of, that's the point right there, boys. The beautiful thing about being a young man who is experiencing this existential crisis, like it kind of feels like you have nothing to lose. So take some big risks, boys. One of the things that just came to mind is a comment from Wheat Waffles, who's like a black pill YouTuber, but I like him, okay? Even though he's black pill, he's part of the gang, he's part of the boys. And he commented on one of my videos once, and he said like, even though we disagree with some things, he really respects the fact that I took some big risks. I was talking about money in my story of like working the full-time job and, having like a sense of comfort in that consistent wage and everything. I literally quit my job whilst also having like rent to pay and everything, just so I could start like writing ebooks and starting drop shipping and learning to code and, just trying loads of different businesses. I took that big risk, boys, and this is where I am. If you're a young man with this existential crisis, just know like you can risk it, bro. Obviously, like take calculated risks. Don't I'm not I am a financial advisor, bro. Do exactly what I say. But for a solid in more than a year, I'd say, I was literally like, I felt so depressed. I remember like I associated it as like negative thoughts, and I'd wake up being scared of when the negative thoughts would start in my brain again. It always used to start when I'd smoke weed as well. I remember like a lot of people get like paranoia when they smoke weed, and for me, when I'd smoke weed, that would be when as soon as I'd smoke a little bit and I start feeling the high, the thoughts would just come into my head. You're not successful, you're broke. Why are you spending more money on weed, bitch? Like you don't even have money to spend. Why have you literally just picked up 50 pounds of weed and you've got Deliveroo food on the way and everything? You can't afford this. Imagine if you saved it. Imagine if you invested it. For so long, I was trying to run away from those thoughts, and I realized now that those thoughts were the message that should have been listened to. And I was trying all these businesses. I'd go onto YouTube, and I'd always hate these dropshipping bro. These like 18-year-old guys who are like showing like they look everyone. Here's the the thumbnails that they'd have on YouTube where it's like a picture of their phone showing like I've just made 50k, and they're like this. I'd see them and I'd be like, yo, they're lying, bro. You didn't make 50k this month. That's of course you didn't. That's impossible, right? It's possible. It's very, very likely that a lot of those guys are not lying. Some probably are. Some, of course, like make their money through courses and stuff. But it's like, to me, they're still successful. I don't give a like what anyone says. Like when we see someone who's really, really achieving like a weird level of success, we try and say everything because that's our insecurities coming out, because it's like, since we can't make that much, he must be scamming people, he must be lying, he must be this, he must have gotten daddy's trust fund or some. And I realize now it's not about age. It feels really special, right? It feels special to see an 18-year-old who's making so much, a 24-year-old who's making a lot of money. It's not about age. It's about how long you've been productive on the right things. The issue is that most people have just not been productive for a long amount of times, and most people have not actually worked on the right things. What is your goal? You need to understand what your goal is right now. But like our perception of success is still the same outdated version, which is like the doctor who works 60 hours a week and gets paid half as much as a 15-year-old girl on TikTok. And so it's all about the moment that you can take control of your life and direct your mental energy into something that actually matters for you. It's productive and it's the right thing. And being in the education system is a massive load that then you can't put onto something that's way more important. As you may have seen from my videos, I'm like a massive advocate for like on the education system, because it's an entire waste of time, bro. 18 years, let's say you want to go to uni too, and it's like 20 something years, bro. That's 2 years of work. I could do that in 6 months now. 9 months, let's say. 9 months, if you actually like did it properly with deep work and no like partying in the middle and stuff. It's all stretched out to just waste your time and to drain your like money and to just ingrain the nice like good boy workers mindset. Listen, wait for the bell to go on to lunch. Don't you speak to your friends or anything. And so you come home at 3 p.m. after school, maybe later, and you've got no mental energy left because they've given you homework as well. And now you've got chores you want. Okay, you go to the gym, fair enough, that's awesome. But after that, like there's no mental energy left. And so for most people, that moment when you can work on something important starts at age 18, but probably later. I'd say on average it seems to be 22 from what I've seen. 22 is when you hit your stride, and that's when you actually start to that's when life counts. If you're not 22 yet and you're feeling directionless, you're watching videos and you're like, wait, these guys are making so much money and everything, bro. Your life hasn't even started yet. If you're younger than 22 and you've already started a couple of the good habits, bro, you've been like going to the gym somewhat consistently, maybe you've been meditating, maybe you've been reading some books, you are so like you're setting your future self up for such a sick life. If you're 22 and you're just feeling directionless now, and you're looking around to your friends who went to university and their life is like nice and consistent, they're making like 2,000 a month and you're only making 1,200, you can change that. It takes like 1.5 years and you can build something like tremendous. And I want to remind you that I started this particular business in May 2020. I made videos before it, and fair enough, one of the video that popped off that got me a lot of subs I made before, but I made that video and like 1 or 2 other videos and then didn't upload, and I don't think it really gained traction. So I like to just believe I started making videos consistently May 2020. It's been 1.5 years, and this is the level of success that we've hit because I've focused on the right thing and I've been productive on it. And 100% I am lucky, I'm privileged, but of course I put in the work, I did the right things at the right time. In 2 years, I think that's the number you should be focused on. 2 years, you can make a business that makes $3,000 online, and now you don't have to work a normal full-time job. If you spent 2 years focused on this one particular goal, make $3,000 a month, you would achieve it. Like, at least if you put in work for it and everything, you follow the procedure, you put in the work, you had the routine, you came home from school or work and you tried to do like half an hour, 1 hour every single day, and you put in like solid 15 hours over the weekend, you'd achieve it. It's all about delaying gratification. My original goal when I started all of this like online income stuff, it was to make £500 a month. I literally used to sit there getting so excited. I was like, bro, if I could make like £500 a month, I'd be able to like travel, I'd save up loads of money from working a job, and then I'd imagine like £500 a month whilst you were in Thailand, you'd be able to stay there longer, and you're, oh my god, like think bigger, bro. Think big and then think bigger, and then put in the work and make it happen. Make that your sole focus, like the big goal, and just know that everyone is going to like criticize you. Everyone's going to say, no, don't focus on that, don't focus on that. And that perception that everyone puts onto you, and obviously it makes you feel behind in life, but you've got to realize you're not behind in life. You are exactly where you deserve to be. So again, grab the world by its balls, take control, and make it so that you deserve to be somewhere better. Because this is the I love. Like, I started this business, I started all of this YouTube channel as an entrepreneur. Like, I'm a businessman first and foremost. I went away for that for a certain while, and, I was kind of like embarrassed. I was insecure because everyone online says, like, you shouldn't be a businessman because it's whatever. I started this business for that level of freedom, for not needing to work a job. I'd do my shift and I'd come home, I'd be commuting on the tram and everything, and it'd be pitch, like, I've told this story multiple times, but it'd be pitch black when I come home. There's a particular bit that I'd just always crying. I'd be able to see my apartment in the light there. I'd be able to see, like, my girl there who I was living with. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the times I'd be like looking through, like, she better not have a guy in there. She getting right now. but there's nothing worse than having your freedom sapped in exchange for £60 a day. That's what we're trying to escape with these type of businesses and this entrepreneur mindset. And all of this started for me, like, as an entrepreneur, and I'll never forget that. Now I'm moving more to be humble and helpful, trying to be more like Adonis. I'm not thinking about money, I'm just trying to, like, help as many guys as I can. But I'll always remember my origin story. It was always to just make enough so I didn't have to work a customer service job. And so if you feel behind in life right now, I just want to rewire your mindset one last time. All successful people have had the same feeling, and I'm beginning to realize, like, it's a weirdly positive feeling to have, because everyone else, or most people around you who don't feel behind in life, they're the ones at risk. This horrible, agitating type of feeling that you have that you're behind right now is the reason why you probably, hopefully, will surpass. It's like this feeling is the fuel to put in the work. A lot of people who get this feeling won't do it. I won't even lie to you, because you still have to put in a lot of work. But having this feeling shows us that at least you're built in a way that makes you uncomfortable with being average. I'm glad that we're in this, like, special group of people who overthink about these things, whilst everyone else is, like, completely fine. They're just going to the pub and watching, I was gonna say watching FIFA, but that's a video game, innit? We have, like, the mental stress and the thoughts and the negative thoughts to deal with, but bro, we're gonna accomplish some big things if you put in that work. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.